Honorable Speaker, on site opening opposition, we do believe that children will better off on our side of the house for three substantial reasons. The first is better life for all orphan children from developing countries. The second one, why prospective parents are more likely to be responsible and love adopted child. And the last thing, why on principle the life with parents better than life in orphanage, which justifies any kind of adoption. The last point would be elaborated more by my second speaker. We want to provide them with all basic necessities, with better education and care of parents. Very proud to oppose. But before, several remarks to the speech of Prime Minister. Her case, unfortunately, is not exclusive for international adoption only. Human trafficking, selling out babies, selling for organs and harsh nurturing, all such kind of factors are present on both sides of the house. Even after banning international adoption, such illegal acts will continue because black market is desperate for them. Their profit is simply based on these children. They're also okay in status quo to make illegal things, which we already saw from tremendous number of examples, and we think that they simply will keep it doing and still would kidnap babies in order to sell them, and still such kind of human trafficking would exist. Which is more important, the harsh nurturing of child and violating his rights will present on both sides of the house. You cannot be for 100% sure that local parents after the adoption of that child will be so nice to him and will give him only warm atmospheres and warm memories. Therefore, we think that nothing exclusive. The cases of violating children's rights can be solved through proper mechanisms and legal coercion. In vast majority of states, there are special commissions which will monitor the life of children after adopting. There are special journalist unions which take interview from adopted children. Moreover, there are some special hot call lines where children can call anonymously and talk about all their problems to government officials. We can implement more checks systems before the adopting to the prospective parents. But even if all of this will fail, we have to remember that the harms of opening government is not unique to international adoption itself. Proceeding to our own substantive material. First, in vast majority of instances, prospective parents have to have high income, good psychological state, and do not have criminal or civil violations. We believe that these children mostly adopted by developed countries, citizens from developing states. It happens for two reasons. First, it's really difficult to adopt child in developed country because they should wait for longer time, such as 2 years, 3 years. Moreover, they have a lot of bureaucracy, which is not comfortable for a lot of people. The second, the number of children simply is not always even enough for prospective parents in such kind of developed countries because the birth rate there is really low. Therefore, they adopt children from developing countries. After adoption, children will live in developed country, which allows them to obtain proper education, proper healthcare, better career opportunities. Moreover, as I already pointed out, parents have to be at least middle class. This means that child will live in a better situation rather than in orphanage in case of government side. On comparison, after banning international adoption, a lot of children will be harmed for several reasons. First, developing countries already have high birth rates. That is to say that countries like Kazakhstan, India, Rwanda, Malaysia, Indonesia, they already have at least 3.5 children per family. Moreover, majority of developing states are conservative societies where adoption of children is something strange and shameful, meaning that adoption of orphans will be really low, as we see in status quo. Local people adopt miserable number of children right now. Moreover, the quality of life also really low in developing countries. As more children will live in orphanages after the banning of international adoption, we will have more problems. The first, funding of orphanages in these developing countries are extremely low in status quo. Second of all, more children there means that already little amount of resources should be shared among more people. That is to say, it will make everyone's share less. Meaning that you would have less food, less better clothes, less attention from the workers and teachers in orphanages. Moreover, workers in orphanages cannot provide children with warm atmosphere and usually beat them and violate their basic rights and freedoms. Education in orphanages is really poor, and because of that, a lot of children after completion of orphanage, they cannot go to proper universities or proper educational proper professional colleges after which they can find a work and to build a successful career. But the most important thing, stigma on orphans makes their lives after 18 really difficult, because these children mostly associated with criminals and drugs. This makes artificial barriers for employment, education, and human relationship. In comparison, we allow to adopt these children and they will have better life. Last year, 28,000 children were adopted by the US citizens from Kazakhstan. Austria adopted 8,000, UK adopted 6,000. All of them found their family and society which provide them with better opportunities for all their ambitions. What is even more important, a lot of disabled children are adopted mostly by foreigners. These disabled children do not have chances to succeed in developing countries at all. They are disabled, also they are orphans, which will marginalize them twice more. In comparison, we give them better life, where they will be able to have education, go in for sports, and self-actualize themselves. They will have necessary resources, infrastructure, and love from their parents in order to realize all goals. Even if they won't be successful, they still will live in better conditions, which we think adheres in human rights. The second point, talking about the responsibility and love of prospective parents, it happens in two ways. Internally, because these parents are desperate to have a child. As they go to such a step, it shows that it's really important for them. In vast majority of instances, children are part of full and happy family. A lot of people forming family hope to have a child and be happier. People tie their happiness and sense of life to this child because it's commonly accepted that you have to leave your offspring. People like to spend time on them, to celebrate their successful steps in life, like first words, going to school, finding features of their characteristics. Externally, mechanisms of control domestically and internationally, and we think that the long process in which these prospective parents have to wait for 6 months or for 1 year already shows their strong motivation to have a child and form happy family. But these 2 points combined give you a clear picture why a child after adoption would be happier, as he will feel love and warmth of parents. Moreover, he will be able to succeed in different spheres, which almost impossible after the banning of international adoption. Very proud to oppose.